LegitTechTutorials, and welcome to beginning Arduino. So today we're going to continue building on what we learned in the past two tutorials. So in the past two tutorials, I was showing you guys how to power up the internal LED on the Arduino. Now and we also went over how breadboards work. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing as what we did with the internal LED, except for I'm going to show you how to use one of the I/O pins with the breadboard to power an external LED, and also you'll be able to run this in real life, as we're going to use a 220 ohm resistor as far as what the book says, because in the book he uses VIR, which is Ohm's law, and then he uses the power formula, which is VI, which is voltage times current, in order to find out that to get an LED to run safely in its power consumption, because power is what destroys circuits. So a lot of these circuits that we do in the emulation will run exactly fine in the emulation, but when you try to do it in real life, you might burn up a part. So what I'm going to try to do is emulate in the simulation, try to have the exact same thing of what we have in real life, and ones that you could work with. The previous one that we had, where you just use the 5-volt right into the breadboard and power that LED, is probably not the best idea. And I'll show you guys how to set that up right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm logged in here at the top. I'm going to start new breadboard circuit. And it's going to load a new unnamed circuit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back a little bit, so we have a good view of our Arduino Uno, which I'm going to go ahead and drag in here. And I'm going to need more space, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put in an LED. Now remember that the terminal anode and cathode, so here's the anode. Anode is going to be our power side, and the cathode is going to be our negative side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wire up this this LED. Now there's two different types of controls on an Arduino. There is digital output or input, and there's also PWM. So we're going to be going over PWM later, but PWM is what allows you to have variable speeds. Digital is similar to, you can think of it almost as binary. So those people that know binary, you can either have a 0 or a 1. So it's only all on or all off. There's no in the middle. So that's all you have. Is you could either have it full blast on, or you could have it not doing anything at all. So in this case, we're going to use digital because we only want to turn the LED on and off. But if we wanted to do PWM, which is we wanted it to vary the brightness, then we would have to use PWM. So if you look here, here are all of our digital outputs and inputs, but the ones with PWM are only the ones with squiggly lines in front of it. So 11, 10, and 9 are only ones with PWM. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and get our resistor. Then we're going to go from the negative side to the negative terminal of the breadboard, as you see here. Then what we're going to do here is change this to ohms and make this 220 ohms. Now you could use a slightly closer to this number in real life if you don't have a 220 ohm. But as you see here, just match up these colors. So you have red, brown, black. Should be black. And that is a 220 ohm. It's a pretty popular resistor, so you should be good. Then after that, we are done. So what we're going to do is we're going to start wiring up. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get our ground power, and we're going to attach it to the ground rail of the breadboard. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pick a random digital one. So let's pick like 8. So we're going to set terminal 8 digital output. Well, we're going to set it as output. It's either digital output or digital input. and we're going to set it to the power side of the LED. So now we have everything all wired up. We have the power, which we're going to control through a digital output, which is going to give us our 5 volts. Then we have the general ground, which is here, which is going to be controlled by this ground here. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump into our code editor, and now we're only going to change a couple of things here. So first off, we're going to go back and see what terminal this is, terminal 8. So we're going to want to change our stock code to terminal 8. Then we're going to leave this the same. We're going to initialize that pin using pin mode LED, which is our 8, to be an output. Then what we're going to do is we're going to keep this guy exactly the same. And you'll notice that when we run this, it does exactly what we did on the last tutorial, except for now it's an external LED on the breadboard. So now you could control circuits that are external of the Arduino, which is the whole point of an Arduino. You don't use an Arduino just to control that LED on the Arduino. You use an Arduino as a microcontroller to use programs to control the physical world and be able to take inputs and outputs and be able to do different things with them. So now you see that everything's working. So now what we could also do is we could wire more stuff. For example, if we had another LED, if I plopped another LED on there, like farther down, and then I wired it from the negative to the negative, from the positive to the positive. Then now you see we have 2 LEDs running off that one power surge and also you notice that from our last one is that they're pulsing. The reason why they're pulsing is because we have this, so let me go over this code, and then that's probably going to be it for this particular tutorial. So what we have is we have a digital write. And you notice that the first keyword is digital, so that means we either do high or low. And that's, like I said, you either have a 0 or a 1. 0 is off, in this case low, and 1 is high. So basically what we do is we turn on the LED. So we give it power. Now power is coursing through this red line, goes up to this LED, turns on the LED, and it keeps it that way for 1,000 milliseconds, which 1,000 milliseconds, a millisecond is 10 to the negative 3, so 1,000 milliseconds is a second. Then what it does is it turns the LED off, then holds that for another second. Then it goes back through the loop and turns it on. And then about the previous part, like I said, we're setting the LED pin to be 8, then we're writing that LED pin output. So we're telling it's an output, not an input, and we set it as that, and then we upload it and run it, and you see that we are now controlling external objects with code in the Arduino. And this should be completely safe for real life use, as it will not pull too much power through your resistor, and you shouldn't be giving away too much wattage through the LEDs. As you see now in this one compared to the previous one, it used to be where it was like it would be really bright and have a star. So let's go ahead and show you guys that. Let me see if I haven't actually tried to delete anything. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that I didn't delete anything in here. Okay, so I added something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach a line from here to the ground. So now what happens is when I upload and run it, there's really low current. But yeah, so you want to run with at least the 220 ohm. The 220 ohm I didn't count into effect that I was going to use another LED. So you want to watch out for that. So what I would do is the second LED was just for a demonstration. Now if you have one LED, go with a 220 ohm resistor in real life, and you can run this exact same code. Use whatever one of these pins you want, and just set that pin here. Alright, so this is another little beginning tutorial. The tutorials are going to start to get, you know, better and better, going to get more in depth as we go on. So this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials. I'd like to thank you for watching my tutorial on external, manipulating external lights on a breadboard using an Arduino, using digital outputs. Alright, so I'd like to thank you for watching. If you like my video, please subscribe for more videos like it in this series and other series as well. The reference book to this is in the description. A lot of extra information that I'm probably not going to go over. So if you want to get super in-depth into this as well as in the tutorials, check out that book in the description. If you have any questions, email me, and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Peace.